Hello everyone, this is GT Time and I am your moderator, Kyle Bossman, and joining us as always is our uniquely talented and knowledgeable panel, including sitting in for Brandon Jones, Michael Huber.
Big shoes to fill. The biggest.
Daniel
He is your
Bloodworth
boss,
next
though,
to him.
right?
Yeah, Huber's my boss. Daniel Bloodworth.
Hey.
And sitting in the guest seat, Ian Hink.
Hi.
I have a flow. I have a flow of uniquely talented and knowledgeable panel, including Brandon Jones. And I was trying so hard not to get into Brandon
I heard
Jones.
you almost
You should
say
do
it.
Yeah.
wickedly talented.
It's really close to that. Wickedly talented Michael Huber. Ian, you're in a guest seat this week.
Oh.
One thing we've been doing in the intro of our show is ask our guests how this person has come to GameTrailers.com. How'd you get here, and why?
Well, I was working for Satan at This Week In, and then
Hold on, what is This Week In?
it was a horrible, stupid, terrible company run by a megalomaniac psychopath.
Okay.
And then, so I hard quit that because in a few weeks I had a 2-week stint to help Game Trailers with E3. I think Matt Robb, who now works here, not for Game Trailers, but for Smosh or whatever, he had a friend on Facebook who was friends with I don't even know who, probably Meg, but I don't know, who was like, hey, if you're an editor, send us your resumes for E3. So I did, and then I worked a week and a half for E3, and then I was like, hey, if you need anything else, whatever. And then a month later, Bobby called me back in, and I worked for another couple of weeks, and then a couple of months after that, he called me back in, and then I just went to him, I'm like, I'm just gonna keep coming in, is that cool? And he was like, yeah, until the end of the year. And then December came around, I'm like, I'm just gonna keep coming in. And then now it's 4 years later.
How'd you transition from lowly editor to Ian Hink?
I've
Game
always
Trailers?
been Ian Hink.
How'd you get to be on camera? How'd you get to make shows and things?
I don't know. It just kind of slowly started. You started putting me in stuff, and I started showing up.
You
in
just
stuff.
have a finger.
Yeah, I mean, we did Seedlings, which Game Trailers licenses from us, so we retained ownership of that.
It's true. You were in one of our first Not Funnies.
Yeah, I think the Not Funnies had something to do with it, and then we just started doing Just Plays and stuff, and then Elise and I had been like, hey, let's rip off Weekend Update and do that, but with video games. We wanted to call it GT Update, but then they didn't like it, so we came up with Mandatory Update.
Way better title.
Which grew on me.
It's a way
yeah.
better title.
It grew on me, yeah.
Yeah.
I like it, and it stands alone better. But I think Jeremy finally pushed for that. I think probably because he knew that the company was going to get bought. So he thought maybe if we had a show, we wouldn't get fired. Who knows? I don't know. So he saved us.
I think that's probably a good theory.
Yeah. So Jeremy saved Elise and I.
You're saying the only reason that they're here today is Mandatory Update?
Pretty good chance.
Ouch. I would
Damn.
disagree with that. I think that they have.
I mean, I think
great
Ian
things.
might have been on anyways, but I think.
So just to be clear,
definitely
Bloodworth, you
helped
think
Elise.
Elise's only value is what she does for Mandatory Update?
No, but I think it's like a bargaining chip.
Okay.
When you talk to people about visibility and hey,
For
if you
the
don't
powers that be,
if
it's
you don't
easier
have
to,
these, if you don't have these people, you don't have this show.
Because let's
If
be
you
clear,
have-
this whole place would fall apart without Elise.
Yeah, absolutely.
She is the spine and glue of this company. Mm-hmm. And I think she's underrated.
If I were sick for a month,
She's underrated by herself.
And by
if
the
I broke
staff.
my pelvis and I was out of work for a month, no, it would go fine. Game Trailers would be fine.
would be unimpacted.
Final Bossman in the hospital.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would do a little broken pelvis episode.
Now I want you to break your pelvis.
Let's do it. Let's start with some corrections. Brandon said last week that you can't stop the music in any Final Fantasy games. This was incorrect. In Final Fantasy 11 and 14, you can stop the music, and also in 13 on the Xbox 360, you can stop the music.
Just the 360 version.
Just the 360 version,
It's
because
so specific.
that's
It's
mandatory. And that's also kind of a clarification, is that we talked about custom soundtracks and how much we love them. Apparently 360 mandated that you could do custom soundtracks,
Huh.
and we didn't give it enough credit for that.
I remember back in the day you could do it with Quake. If you put a CD and then drive, it would play them. I don't know if it's Quake or
On
Duke
PC?
Nukem or-
Quake on what platform?
Yeah, on PC.
Okay.
Good for you.
I used to just have Napster running in the background when I played CS, and that was my custom soundtrack.
What do you mean? Napster is just where you download
I would
music.
download them and then just like play them.
You just be
Yeah,
running
you
both
could-
programs at the same time.
Oh, okay. That's awful.
Anyway,
Okay.
But yeah, I think Brandon Jones's perspective was probably just, behind the times because he was talking particularly about when he was doing the retros.
Yeah. He
And
wasn't
so
counting
those
down
games,
modern
other than
games.
11, those games have come out since then.
Yep. Also, the PlayStation 4 after 2.0, its firmware update, you can play music on your PlayStation 4 now if you have a USB.
Off of a USB stick. That's
Yep.
such a weird way to do it.
Hey, why not, man?
I think it's weird playing music on your PlayStation at all.
It's so good.
I've never done that.
What if
I've
your-
never needed to do
Your
that?
speakers are hooked up to that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's the reason I did it on the PS3. But it's weird to me that now, like, it'll play the music, but it can't be copied to the drive. Like, what? That doesn't make sense.
They're just trying to protect their butts.
Oh no, they want you to do Spotify.
Ben was wrong about one thing. Oh, most free versions of Spotify, actually, you can play the full album. It's only his weird, dumb little Android version where you can't play the full album. You knew
And
that, I
Taylor
guess.
Swift, just not on there.
Well,
It's not on Spotify.
There's,
Took her music off.
Why?
There's different
Because
artists.
they screw you.
Yeah.
Okay,
Any
this is
good artist
interesting.
should take
That
their
argument
shit
already
off.
happened in the comments.
Spotify.
Yeah, because there was somebody fighting back, and they say, actually, Spotify is really good for artists. Do your research, Brandon Jones.
Oh, they
I'm
get
pretty sure they're like
pennies.
legendarily bad for artists.
Wow,
It's pretty
okay.
bad.
And
I mean,
so-
I'm not like I haven't like read the contracts, but that's what I've heard.
I have a friend who's in a band that's nothing big, but he gets pennies.
Pennies on the dollar.
But I mean, he's like low
But also,
band.
if there's like a little Michael
versus-
Hubert on Napster downloading music illegally, he gets
This
$0.
was the very beginning of downloading music when illegal
I
downloads
have
was
no
a foreign
sympathy
concept.
for you. No, I'm sorry, Hubert. I can't feel
I
bad.
never had Pirate Bay. I buy all my CDs. I buy my games.
This is
I do not
disgusting.
pirate.
I can't.
It's like
Oh
you were
my
talking about
God.
last week. Like
Don't
purchasing things is
even.
easier than stealing
Don't even
things now.
spread these lies.
Huber's a thief.
I buy everything.
Last week, we have an important update. You can play as dinosaurs in Lego Jurassic Park.
Whoa!
End corrections music.
Whoa!
Telltale
T-Rex.
came out this week and like
Goaty.
said, you can do it. You can
Nice.
absolutely play as dinosaurs
Goaty.
this week. That's fun. Maybe Goaty.
The teaser was great. You saw it?
I don't know. If a dinosaur's jaw is going to drop off, I need it to be motivated.
Wasn't it Lego Undercover, right? You could be the T-Rex or like the big dinosaur.
I think you can ride a dinosaur bones T-Rex.
That's right. That's right.
You can ride
Oh,
a
yeah.
dinosaur.
Super
I know what you're
fun.
talking about now.
Yeah.
Just like in the Night at the Museum game.
Just like in the Night Museum. And you did ride it too.
It
That's
was,
so
super,
silly.
it was super unexpected in that game.
Sorry, spoilers.
in Night at the Museum.
No, in
Lego City.
Lego.
I'm sorry if I just spoiled it for anyone.
Spoiled Lego, whatever it was.
We can put a
One
spoiler.
of the best
income.
ones.
No, we're not going to do that.
Wii U exclusive.
Oh,
Still. My
Well, I
goodness.
think Nintendo.
I'm holding
had
out
some
hope for that.
help in that.
Neo
Yeah.
Geo port.
The 3DS one. It's a prequel.
Are we
Yeah,
going
I
to
don't
talk
think that
about
one's as
Persona
good.
5 in
Origins.
this show?
Did you want to? We can start
Are we
with Persona
going to?
5.
I don't think we need to. They already kind of did that.
You don't think we need to?
Because this is a new show.
Well, for
You know what I mean?
one, nobody
Persona
put it
5
on.
trailer was good as the news.
Yeah,
So, well, let's talk
nobody
about
put it
that,
on the
actually, for
rundown.
sure.
We had a 20-minute thing that went up yesterday.
Yep. But let's talk about it. So
I just want to say
I didn't get to
it's
see it yet
rad.
because nobody put it on a rundown.
the colors
so.
are great.
So you didn't get to see it because it
didn't-
wasn't on my rundown.
You didn't watch the Persona 5
You-
trailer immediately when you woke up.
You're telling me the only things
No.
you look
I
at on the
watched it
internet
at
are the
4 in
things
the
that are on my
morning.
rundown.
I
When I'm
watched it
prepping
at
for a
10.
show, yeah. But when you send out the thing, like right before we shoot. Yeah.
I like it. We're feisty today. So this was at the end of a 30-hour
Feist
stream,
party.
right?
30-hour stream,
Mm-hmm.
4:07 in the morning.
30-hour stream? You mean 30-minute stream?
30-hour stream. This was over a day-long
They
stream.
go nuts. They're
They were
so
doing
crazy.
Persona 3 movie, Persona 4 dancing all night,
I see.
Persona news everywhere, and it ended. It
I want that
culminated.
dancing game.
Oh, yeah.
What system is that on?
That's Vita?
Yeah.
Yeah.
A dancing game on the Vita?
Canon.
What's
Canon.
going on? I love that all these weird other
It's so
ancillary
weird,
games
yeah.
are canon.
So okay, at the end of a 30-hour stream,
We are gifted with
the first ever gameplay.
Real good
gameplay.
trailer.
Such a good trailer. One of, like, it's an early year. Easily the best trailer of the year so far, in my eyes. I mean, we're only in February, but still. It just
Better than Curse of the
crammed
Sad Mummy?
easily. Which I've never even seen,
never
but I'm just going to
heard of
say
that.
easily.
It was good. Kyle's the only person who didn't like it.
It just crammed so much information into a 2.5 minute thing.
Any trailer that shows a menu and it's like really exciting.
Yeah. Showed
don't
the
know.
menu, showed anime cutscenes,
Oh, so
showed classroom, showed traveling in the city, showed combat, showed the party members.
And it's
showed
only
it
like
all.
2-something minutes long.
Yeah, they
Okay.
showed everything.
But since this is like a current events show, what can we learn about this trailer's premiere in a current events perspective?
That this game can't come out soon enough.
Was it the right way to reveal that?
Oh, speaking
Absolutely.
of, did they talk
Yeah.
about when it will release?
They did
No.
not.
No release date
No.
still.
No release date.
Bummer.
Ben was messing with me. I was like, when's this game come out? And he's like, today. And I was like, no, for real, when's this game come out?
It looks like it could come out today. It looks in good shape.
Didn't
Yeah.
something do that just recently come out today? It was announced.
PT.
Maybe it
PT?
wasn't. No, well, I think.
It was
Good
Indigo
pull, Ian.
Prophecy.
That was immediate.
Indigo Prophecy HD came out like announced, released.
Also, the Game of Thrones Telltale, they were like, oh, yeah, this comes out in like a week and a half.
Yeah.
And everyone was like, who cares?
Who cares?
Well, yeah, they kind of do that all the time with their games.
But the thing we learned, the biggest takeaway from the Persona trailer was how opposite of Persona 4 it was. It was
It's red now instead
you are
of
not
yellow.
you are not innocent high school children. You are thieving teenage adults, I guess. I don't know.
I
young
kind of like
adults.
the idea
Are
of
they a gang? Is that what it is?
They're thieves. They're
Yeah.
stealing something. So we don't know if there's going to be heists.
I sort of hope you're the
Or-
bad guy.
It
Yeah.
can't be more opposite.
I kind of hope you're
This
the
is
bad
what
guy in
Huber
this
said.
game.
It can't be more opposite. You're not teenagers. You're young adults.
yeah.
He said teenager adults.
Teenage-
But you
which
said
is
there's
not
a
a thing.
classroom.
There's
still.
you're not in a small town. You're in a big
old
city.
All right. I think
All right.
I'm just saying. I think it could be more opposite.
I don't know. It looked.
I mean, it could be like
yeah, you could be old men. Or
it could be like a
Yeah.
first-player chess game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then it would be more
It could be an
opposite.
FPS.
Yeah.
First
All right.
person.
Okay. Thanks for covering. So that's
All
our
right,
Persona
all right.
5. We did it. We covered
we
it.
just had to. We couldn't not talk about it.
So there was a wow. I like to start the show with game announcements. I don't know if this counts.
It counts.
Let's just start from the beginning.
It counts.
There was a thing called Taipei Game Show last week.
Oh, this thing. Yeah.
Yes, this thing.
This thing.
Exactly. It's kind of like an this is should I pay attention to this kind of thing
Right.
because nobody knows.
Well, because like a lot of those things, like they show games that are already out in Japan and the U.S. you know,
Yes.
so
And so there was a Sony press conference, and this is what was happening. This montage we've seen 1,000 times. It's like, oh, the Phantom Pain's coming out, the Order's coming out. Then a weird little stupid thing in the editing of this montage, a bunch of jump cuts. You see a car turning, you see Batman for a second, and then you see this 2 that is the Metal Gear Rising font, just the 2 with a black background, and then we're back to Batman. Each in like a fraction of a second. You did not, that 2 was not intentionally there, at least seemingly. Just flashed by very, very quickly. And so we're also like, well, hold on, what, do they just tease Metal Gear Rising 2? Then, the next day, Mr. Jeff Keighley sends out an interesting tweet. It says, "Slice that rumor."
Good pun.
Nice work.
Great pun,
Yeah.
Keeley. That deserves an applause. That is great.
he's also Game Slice is his brand. Too.
Oh yeah.
Oh my
Wow.
god. Keeley, he's just doing genuine reporting there, and this is how he knows he's delivering this news. He starts with "Slice that rumor. No Metal Gear Rising 2 tease at Taipei Game Show. Spoke to @Ken155 from Koji Pro Live. It is not true." So then everyone was like, how could that possibly not be true? That's
Yeah.
clearly the 2 from Metal Gear Rising 2. Later, Kojima Productions themselves tweet, "The trailer screen cap in question is from SCE, Sony Computer Entertainment, and not affiliated with Kojima Productions or Metal Gear. We'd like to say thank you to the fans for their enthusiasm, but to clarify, we did not tease a new game at the Taipei Game Show."
They're teasing it.
They're teasing it.
I think what happened is, whoever this editor was, got a hold of some footage that should not have been there. Maybe Sony has a weird shared drive. But
that there's no possible way.
Yeah, Ian, you're an editor.
Like,
yeah.
How would this 2
It wouldn't.
get in there?
Yeah.
Like
exactly.
unless Konami and Sony Computer Entertainment America are like working on it together, and they're like prepping a trailer or something, or like the same like editing house is making the Batman trailer that's making the Revengeance 2 trailer. Like
somebody just had too many project files open at once.
but that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Like but it's weird. I mean, I haven't seen this, so you just described it to me.
It is super weird.
But,
honestly,
like-
because what they do is like you see a little bit of Batman and Drive Club, and then there's 2, and then we're into Batman, and so it's like there is a gap. It was like somebody had a bunch of crap, and then they had a clip on top of it, and they cut that clip by accident, and the crap underneath was still there.
Yeah,
That's the way it looked.
Because it starts with Batman and comes back to Batman. It's all like put into even controller shots of the controller.
Yeah.
Somebody
so
messed
weird.
up. It's coming.
I mean, is it cut to music? Is it like on the beat?
It's not on the beat.
No, those
So
things are not on.
So
any
it
kind of
doesn't
beat.
seem like a correct edit.
right.
No, it looks,
I mean, I'll
it looks
need to
very
watch
incorrect.
it later and see, but
Yeah.
like, I mean, that'd be really like that editor would be out of their mind if they were doing that accidentally.
I think the big thing here is it's the boy who cried wolf. It's Kojima.
Right.
You are a master troller. I don't believe a word you say ever. You
Right.
say this isn't a game. I'm saying, too bad. Your reputation precedes you. Revenge of 2 is coming.
You got to go into this reputation. So when else has he said, "I promise this is not that"?
Like that time when they were like, David Hayter's not in Phantom Pain, and then he totally was.
So like I think the example you're thinking of is Phantom Pain. Oh yeah, I'm not making Phantom Pain.
Yeah, Project Over.
Yeah, he's like,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
done
yeah.
with Metal Gear
Yep.
like 5 times. And
That's Joaquin Mogren. That's not me.
Yep. That whole Phantom Pain thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
just
It-
like
it's happening.
showing up with that like mummy rap and like everything he does is like,
Oh yeah, the mummy stuff. I forgot about that.
Moby Dick Studios.
yeah.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Yeah,
Like a
I
flame
think that's the thing.
whale.
Like that's the biggest question is. Okay, it doesn't feel like that intentionally should have been there, but where the heck did it come from?
Right.
Yeah.
Somebody
It
had
looks-
to make that too.
That too
Yeah.
doesn't exist anywhere else.
And either way you slice it, Keely right there.
Keely.
It's intentional or not intentional. It is a great way to create buzz without admitting anything. Now everyone's talking about it. The word is out there. You still have your reveal trailer, which is, however far down the line, and your game is on the radar. Revenge of 2 is now on the radar.
Plus,
when
like-
nobody was thinking about it at all.
Plus, like in
Yeah.
this time of leaks, like leaks are this rampant thing. Like, leave it to Kojima to like comment on that in some weird way with this like meta like super leak, where it's like
It's a
it's like
super leak.
such a like weird tiny like insignificant leak, but then they're all like, nah, it's not nothing. No, like it's a leak in that you just like completely hard deny that it even exists. But yeah, like. Who's making this 2? Somebody went into Photoshop or
Yeah.
Maya or whatever and made a 2 in this font. Like either
Someone's got to answer for this too.
either there's someone
Who made
who
this
did that
2?
too for no reason,
Yeah.
or I don't know.
I'm gonna learn Mandarin. I'm gonna go talk to this editor and say, where did this 2 come from?
Yeah. I mean, I would almost say that it's more likely that it's someone just trolling. I'd say it's more likely that someone just made a 2 to mess with people and shoved it in the edit, like the editor, just to like mess with people, than it would be then that like they accidentally had this weird 2 from some other company and it snuck in there somehow. Because that just like
Yeah.
pretty much doesn't happen
It-
when you're cutting stuff.
It is super weird that it's connected to Batman because Kojima has no
Yeah.
connection.
Well,
with
it's not
it.
connected
It's
to that.
clearly
Or
there.
just
Like
Yeah,
again,
wedged
there's
in
a
there.
Drive
there's a
Club
drive,
is in there,
yeah, there's
yeah.
a drive club shot
Yeah.
there. There's the controller
Just
shot.
within
There's
that whole
all kinds of
thing.
mess.
But I mean, like, yeah, like, unless, like, the only, like, because when you're editing, like, you don't just have stuff under other stuff. I mean, unless you're just a really sloppy editor. But,
That's
like,
how I edit.
They could have, like, hit paste or something. Like, I don't know. I don't
but
buy
I've seen
that
those
it.
editors.
Right. I mean, that's true, I guess. But, like, yeah, I guess I've seen some pretty terrifying timelines in my day where I'm just like, jumping into somebody else's project is like trying to walk into the mind of a madman.
and they're probably using like Final Cut X, and they just have. Like,
Oh, if they were using Final Cut X, then yeah, this was just a mistake because that is not a real editing software.
it created the 2.
Final Cut was like, this is what you're going for, right?
Somehow, like all the letters got merged together and it became a 2.
But realistically speaking,
There's a 2.
Yeah, there's a
Revengeance
2.
2.
It was Platinum's most successful, best-selling game.
Did Kojima like have anything to do with it though? Because
He had
Platinum,
a little bit, but not a ton. It was
Yeah.
mostly Platinum,
right?
with their original ideas, basically, from Kojima Productions.
I miss Metal Gear Rising.
Platinum doesn't do Batman or anything like. They're not helping on the new one or some weird thing that I don't know about. Okay,
No.
Remember
Can,
slicing
can
watermelons?
we guess
Yeah.
titles now? Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance 2 Payback.
No, Metal Gear
It's gotta
Rising
be
2, some other sweet
Some
word.
other bizarre made-up word like
Yeah.
recompensing.
Metal Gear Rising
Pensing.
2, let her rip. Jack's back, baby.
That whole thing's the title. Jack's Back Baby is part of the title of the game. You have to say the whole thing.
Let her rip.
How funny would it be though if Platinum hasn't been working on this and they're like, "Hey guys,
Yeah.
Do this.
People want it.
I like that too. They see the 2 and they're like, I never thought of that.
I like the hype for Sunny. Like the thought that maybe Sunny is going to be the protagonist of this next one. That'd be so cool.
wow."
Sonny with a poncho.
Yeah.
Some-
Which one's
Sombrero.
Sunny?
Sunny is
Sunny's the one with the eggs.
the girl who makes eggs. The
Most
daughter,
realistic gaming eggs of all time.
the daughter of Olga.
In
and 4.
And
oh
yeah.
Oh yeah.
And Olga was the
Jeez.
ninja in Metal Gear Solid 2.
Okay.
It makes sense. Sunny's got that. She's got that capability. She's got it in her.
Yeah. Especially if she's hanging around Jack the Ripper
Yeah.
and Solid
Olga was
Snake.
from 2,
She's
right?
picked up
Yeah.
a few things.
Oh yeah. Because could you kill her on the boat, or could you just knock her out?
Just knock her out.
Because then you find out she's pregnant later.
Yeah.
Man, they all kind of bled together in my mind.
That's a good thing, I
That
guess.
is a
Yeah.
good thing.
So let's move on to some actual game announcements. There were some actual game announcements last weekend. One of these really bums me out. It's called Sonic Runners. Sonic Runners is the next Sonic game from Sonic Team, the Japanese studio who traditionally makes Sonic games. It's a mobile game. Sonic Runners is a mobile game.
It's an endless runner.
They had a whole trailer for this game that is basically clips from good Sonic games. It's clips from Sonic 1 and 2 and 3.
And now for something completely different.
Yeah, it was really
Yeah.
confusing because there was one quick shot that didn't look like any of them, and I'm like, is that Sonic
4. I think it's Sonic
Generations?
4.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But I was confused as to whether we actually saw anything from this game.
I'm pretty sure we didn't. I think
Like,
I think this
just
is
don't
considered
know
a
what
teaser.
we saw.
Is
They
the
did-
idea going to be like you run through classic levels?
That's what I was thinking. Like, is this a mishmash
Well, they
of
show
some kind?
they show some newer CG at the end.
It's like a remix or something?
Or is it just another stupid endless runner with Sonic characters?
I think this is the next entry in the Sonic series.
I mean, if you're going to do an endless runner, Sonic is a no-brainer.
Prime candidate.
Yeah.
Because he runs.
Yeah.
So like
And he runs well.
there's already an Endless Runner Sonic game, and I actually thought this was it. But it's
Oh.
called Sonic Dash, and
Oh.
it is dreadful.
Well, I'm sure.
Did
But are you
the
sure this isn't
core-
a sequel?
It's a Sonic game that came out in the last 15 years. Of course it's terrible.
The thing is with Sonic Dash, they don't have this commercial, and it wasn't by Sonic Team. It was by some other studio. They never had an ad showing the legacy of Sonic the Hedgehog through the Genesis era and on to Sonic 4, if you count that as part of the legacy. You know, that wasn't there with that game. With Sonic Runners, they're propping it up as like, here's where Sonic's going to your cell phones.
Man, I think the final nail in the coffin for Sonic was Sonic 4. That game had potential. It was going back to the classic style. It was the episodic. It ended up just being 2. I remember it was proposed to be 3 episodes or something. We never
Yeah.
even got to finish the thing. And it had potential. The levels were way more vertical than traditional Sonic games. And if that had done well, I think Sonic could have successfully lived on like a Mega Man 9, a Mega Man 10 style, these downloadable Sonic games. Now I think they're just in
I remember
limbo.
the controls felt really sluggish in that one.
Right,
Maybe
just
it was
like
like
running
the-
up loops.
it just-
And
it
like the
just wasn't as
re-release,
good as it
the
could have been.
re-release of 2 or whatever that came out too. Like the controls felt really bad for some reason.
Sega, why would you do this?
I
What's funny about Sonic 4? Oh, when they said Episode 1, when it was on Sonic 4 Episode 1, that's
Yeah.
when I checked out.
Yeah.
Right.
Immediately. You don't do that. Come on.
Sonic's
I wonder if
never
it
been,
came
like,
out
big
now
on
if
the
it would have
story.
done better, because episodes and episodic is a lot more.
It's being done more, but I
accepted now?
still don't know that it's as.
I
It was the
I
early
feel-
stages when it came out of episodic.
I think the episodes kind of kill some of the momentum.
Yeah, I think episodes work for certain games.
Yeah.
I think it's working for all of the Telltale games. I think it's going to work
I would say that episodes are tolerated for certain types of games. I wouldn't say
Yeah.
that they even work.
Kentucky Route Zero,
Yeah.
episode 3. I'm looking at you. Where are you?
Yeah, I mean,
Episode 3 is out.
we kind of talked.
Yeah.
Oh.
4.
We kind
1,
of
2,
talked
and
about
3 are
this a
out.
couple weeks ago, though. Like, I think
3's the best.
you know, like we are seeing some like Life is Strange actually has a schedule, right?
Yes.
Kind of. They have
Every
they have-
6 weeks, I think.
Episode 2 is announced for March, but 3, 4, and 5 are still TBA. They said they're hoping.
Yeah,
6
March
weeks.
is still too far. I want to see them to be like a
2
couple
weeks,
weeks apart at most. And Resident Evil Revelations is kind of doing that, but then nobody cares about that game anymore.
Yeah, I think the episodic game's hard to win.
It's weird too with Revelations because you have 4 episodes that all come out a week apart, and then the final week you have the retail copy.
Yeah.
It's just a weird.
Just wait.
Well, and that's part of it too. Is like, well, if
And
they're
you
all,
get more
if they're
stuff.
all done, why can't I just buy them right now?
Yeah.
That's so. There's a lot of strangeness
and
to
the
it.
retail thing, you get more stuff, so it's like, all right, I guess I'm just gonna wait for the retail.
Can we be
don't
real
know.
right now? Can we be Sonic executives?
No.
Let's be Sonic executives.
Yeah.
Let's try it. Let's try that hat on.
Yeah.
And let's say, where do we put our next Sonic game? Do we put it on mobile phones?
Absolutely.
God, I would say Wii U, but the last one.
No,
was-
you put it on
Yeah.
a phone in a heartbeat because it's going to make crazy money for you.
And that's where our audience is.
Yeah, the audience that loved Sonic is you've lost them. They're gone.
Yeah.
You're never getting them back.
No, they're
ever.
crazy diehards, unfortunately.
Oh,
then
Ben
them.
Moore.
They're
Ben
good.
Moore is
All
like
right,
the
fine.
biggest Sonic
But,
fan
like-
I've ever known, and that guy does not care. about
yeah,
Sonic
like
anymore.
people like us. Like I loved Sonic 2.
Yeah.
Obviously, it was amazing. Sonic and Knuckles, like great stuff, and like barely even looked at the other ones. Sonic and All Stars Racing is a good game.
Absolutely.
Transformed.
Transformed.
Both of them are good.
So
Racing's
Sonic and
good.
All Stars
Transformed
Racing
is a lot
Transformed
better.
is the only one I've played, but that game is startlingly good. But
Sonic Colors was it Colors was the okay one?
Not according to Damiani.
No,
I never played
Unleashed.
that.
Oh,
one.
there are a lot
Unleashed
of people that
Unleashed,
that do like
half of Unleashed is good. I don't like the Werehog.
Werehog is so
no
good.
way. The
But I mean, like you
speed
put
levels are amazing.
you put like some kind of microtransactions in this thing, it's gonna print money for you.
Chairman
if you're
Woodworth,
Sega.
what do you think?
it.
We are Sega.
Well, yeah.
I mean, I think that having a
Level
mobile
packs.
Sonic game makes sense, but I think that they could make, you know, a real console game or even a real decent downloadable console game. It's just they haven't done anything game design wise that actually, you know, like cements it to feel like it's moving the series forward. And when you have, you know, half of your games that are decent and then your other half which are just trash, then it kind of makes it hard to move your brand forward.
They gotta go 2D again.
You know what I would do?
What are you gonna do?
Retro games are huge right now.
Yeah.
I would make a classic
Yeah.
Sonic the Hedgehog game, 8-bit, 16-bit graphics.
Yep. That's the
That's
only
it.
way. That's the only way. Tight controls.
Make it
fast
feel
as
like I'm
hell,
playing Sega Genesis all over again.
except faster.
Fellow chairman, I see this argument, but I'm looking at our numbers here, and I don't see big profits in any.
Well, if we're gonna go down,
Retro-styled
we're
game.
gonna go down in flames. We're gonna go out with integrity, and we're gonna make a game that people respect.
This is
we're not
a-
gonna sell out to some mobile speedrunning crap.
Except Hubert, we're a company that needs to make business. So we don't have integrity, and our soul never existed.
Chairman
so we're
Huber
making
is
a
right.
But I
mobile-
quit.
no.
Want nothing to do with you.
I'm greenlighting Shenmue 3 today. We're going out in a blaze of glory.
Yeah, we are still talking about the company that said Iron Man 2 would be way better than the first one, and actually
man.
came out with a worse game.
Is it even that company anymore? Is any of that still in there?
I don't. It's strange how much they're leaning on Total War though. I feel like they're gonna burn out the Total War fans.
How many Total War games? I guess they're doing expansions, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Attila's coming out in a couple of weeks, and then there's some other things coming out.
I think there was rumor of a Warhammer game.
Yeah, I heard. I
Yeah,
think I heard.
Creative Assembly is supposedly working on one, but we've seen
Cool.
nothing about it.
Right.
Warhammer Space
Sega's best game that's come out recently is Puyo Puyo Tetris.
Yeah, and we can't even play that game because of Ubisoft.
We imported it. It's great.
Who's we? You and Omar?
Yeah.
It's
all in
describe what makes that
Japanese.
game good.
It's Tetris and it's Puyo Puyo, which
Yeah.
is like little bubble guys, and they like mush into each
Yeah.
other. But like
So cool.
It's like a
they're
mean bean
they're
machine.
yeah, it's like Puzzle Fighter or Mean Bean Machine. It's like they're combined though. So like there are a bunch of different modes. You can switch between Puyo Puyo and Tetris, and it just switches them randomly. It gives you a countdown.
Oh, you don't control it. Cool.
Yeah, or you can play like a hybrid where Tetris blocks will come in and they'll squish through the Puyo Puyo thingies and they'll go up above it.
Oh,
Crazy.
But if they're like the bad ones, they'll go away. And then you can play other modes where like you like punish each other, or you can play like, let's say I'm good at Puyo Puyo and you're obviously you are good at Tetris. So you could be playing Tetris and I could be playing Puyo Puyo, and like
We're gonna take on the
we're
world.
like taking on each other.
Oh, okay.
Versus, but I'm playing one game and you're playing the
We
other.
need to stream this.
It's
Yeah.
crazy.
yeah.
We should stream it.
Yeah.
Everyone will accuse us of ripping off Giant Bomb, which, to be fair, is how Omar heard about it. But like, he loves Giant Bomb. But like, yeah, that game is fun. Anyway,
But
derail.
Yeah. Puyo Puyo and Mean Bean Machine are the same thing. They just localized name.
That was a reference I was making. No corrections necessary.
But anyway, it's fun.
Remember Sonic Pinball?
Yeah, I remember Sonic Pinball.
That was a fun
Wait,
one.
isn't it Sonic Spinball?
Pinball.
Yeah,
Pinball,
Spinball.
sorry,
That's
sorry.
important. That's
Sorry,
very important.
Sonic Spinball.
I feel like that one had good music or something. What did I like?
Yeah,
about
but
it?
it's still a pinball game.
Sonic
Yeah.
Pinball. Pinball's cool.
I don't know. You're playing on a board.
There have been some.
No
great
way.
ones.
That game has context, Kyle.
Okay.
Metroid
You're
Prime
like
Pinball.
pumping liquid into things. It has context.
No, go on. What do you mean I'm pumping liquid into
I mean, I haven't
things?
played it in like 15 years, but I remember the first level was like this green slime world.
I think it's on the Mega Collection.
Huber, there are people who
It is
only
on-
listen to this as a podcast, and all they heard about Sonic Spinball is
Yeah.
that you pump liquid into things.
You're
It's an
the
accurate
first. It's a
description.
chemical plant area.
Yeah,
and you're-
chemical plant zone.
Yeah, and you're pumping liquid into different areas to access different areas of the board.
Okay.
What do you think of Rollers of the Realm?
I have no idea what that is.
Oh,
It's an
really?
RPG where you play pinball and it's too slow.
Okay. Well, I think it's too slow.
Elise likes it a bit.
I'm with you.
Or
Yeah,
did
but
get
she
farther
kind of
into it and got
burned
bored?
out. Yeah, it feels like it could have been awesome. I don't know. It takes itself kind of seriously.
Pinball is like, that needs to be a machine in my hands for me to really appreciate it.
Yeah.
That needs to be a metal ball that I'm flicking around on
The
a
last thing I
table.
want to do is thank Sonic for giving me Shenmue, in a sense, because I remember walking into an EB Games and they had the huge TV up in the store, and I looked up and it was the first stage of Sonic Adventure, where he's running from the whales, he's running on the docks. I had a Sega Genesis. I loved Sonic growing up. I saw that image and immediately needed a Dreamcast. Bought a Dreamcast. The rest is history.
How crazy is that story?
That image
Wait, you
sold me.
you were that young and you impulse bought a Dreamcast?
it was for like my birthday. I was like, Mom, I need a Dreamcast. I need a Dreamcast.
I thought you walked in and just
No,
bought a
no,
Dreamcast. I was
no,
like,
no.
what the hell kind of job did you have when you were 14 or whatever?
SWAT thing.
Yeah.
That what is beautiful about that story and sad about today is that Sega says we're doubling down on mobile. We don't want to do as many console games anymore. We lose money. That will never. No
It
one will ever
sold
see a Sonic game that's just
console.
like, oh my gosh, I've never seen anything like this.
It was immediate.
That'll never
I
happen again.
Immediately had to get a Dreamcast to play that game.
yeah.
I mean, that's like, it's just kind of the trajectory of their company. Like, they used to make consoles. They don't anymore.
Yeah.
They used to make games. They don't anymore.
They still
They're
make
gonna
arcade
make. They're
games.
gonna make mobile games.
They're still investing heavily in arcade games, which I appreciate.
Well, yeah, apparently the future for Sega is publishing other people's games.
Hey, whatever works.
Yeah.
Nah.
I just wish I wish that they wanted to make that Sonic game. I wish that the chairman were just like, you know what, if we're going on a blaze of glory, we're making a great Sonic
We're
game.
going down in
they are.
flames.
What they should do is they should like license the Shovel Knight guys to make a 2D Sonic and just be like, here are all the assets.
They don't even need
Go
it.
to town.
Yeah, Shovel Knight's like, we don't want
Shovel
just
Knight
Sonic.
is better than any Sonic.
Well, right. I'm just saying, like someone who's already proven that they can make a good 2D pixel art game.
I'm
and
still
then
on board
just
for that.
give it to them.
I
you know?
believe in indies
That would
getting
be amazing.
licenses. I think that's a really cool idea.
A cool indie studio could make like the greatest Sonic game of all time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Go
right.
back to the roots.
Yeah.
Back to your
Ugh,
roots.
it'd be so good. And then,
Yakuza 5,
somebody
though.
should make a 2D Metroid.
That's still happening.
Jackson
Yeah, it is.
5.
Yakuza 5.
Yeah, baby.
That is happening largely because of Sony's efforts.
Yep.
Like Sega would not have done that on their own, but Sony came to them and said, "All right,
PSN store only.
let's figure out how to do this. Is it really on PSN
Downloadable
only?"
only. No retail
Yeah,
package.
I mean,
I like that.
And
if
it's
it
been out
means
for
that the game
years.
is cheaper.
Yeah.
Came out in 2012 in Japan.
It is cool that Sony's willing to work for stuff like that. I do appreciate when
Yeah,
they do
I
stuff
mean,
like
I
that.
think that's a lot of Adam Boys and his people just like
Yeah.
Like Grim
being,
Fandango.
they're just being fanboys, and
Yeah.
we're gonna come and like, I want that game.
That's
Yeah.
the thing with him, because he really is. Like, he'll just talking to him, like, he pushes for stuff. He's just like, I really like this, so we're going to do it.
Did you talk to him?
I've talked to him a couple of times, yeah. We had, at PSX, I think, like, Andrea called him over, and, like, we ended up, like, hanging out for a while.
What did you talk about?
All kinds of stuff. He was on bonus round at
Oh,
PSX.
right. Yeah.
So, yeah, like, he was hanging around, and we were talking.
Seriously, Yakuza 5 is a huge deal because that is not as extreme as the Shenmue 2 cliffhanger, but I want to finish this story. You know, this is the 5th game in this franchise. I want to know what happens. I want to finish the fight. I don't want to be left hanging.
You've remained unspoiled?
Yakuza
on
5,
it?
yeah.
So you didn't, like, ever go on Wikipedia? And
No. I
Cool.
was hanging out, hope.
Yeah.
Wow,
Holding
that's
out
going to be great. That's
Yeah.
going to be
That'll be good.
good
Culmination.
weekend.
Yeah.
Culmination.
Can't wait. Yeah.
That's going to be the culmination.
It is. I heard 5 is like one of the best too.
You're going to be weeping.
Yeah.
Do you ever weep? Do those games get sad?
Do you ever weep?
I've never wept, but there's some. There's
You've
some
never
sad parts.
wept at all, ever?
In Yakuza.
Oh.
No.
Yeah.
In video games, I have, of course.
What video
Yeah.
games have made you weep?
The first one that immediately comes to mind will always be Metal Gear Solid 3, Snake Eater.
Weeping, for
Weeping.
sure.
Every
Yeah,
time.
Absolutely.
Every single time.
God, that game's
Yeah.
so good.
Yeah.
That is made for weeping. We had another game announcement at last weekend. I don't know if this
how
was
you
part
drug
of the,
this up because I'm sure there have been other games announced that are not this.
Do you know why I drug this up? Is because there was a teaser. Square Enix had a teaser site for this. A cool Z. Inside of this Z,
That's okay. Yeah.
dungeons and crystals inside of this Z. And it said Project Z, I think. And there was a PS4 logo on this website.
Is it
and
like-
it says, you'll find out at TGS, the Taipei Game Show. This game.
TGS is the Tokyo Game Show.
Yeah, but they also call it Taipei. I
Oh,
mean,
really?
Okay.
Lots of cities with T's.
Yeah.
Uh,
Toronto.
What is it like? Square Enix isn't Puzzles and Dragons.
No,
It's
that's
something like
Gung-Ho.
that. It's gonna be
Tampa.
something like that.
Tulsa.
nice. So I was trying to think of some too.
Tacoma.
Gotcha.
Tacoma, nice.
What's the one where the it's like Eat, Pray, Love? The woman goes and under the Tuscan sun.
Tuscany. Okay.
Tuscan game show where it's just like find yourself, bang an Italian guy, cook some cumin food.
Sunset Simulator, yeah.
Yeah.
Some human
Sunset
food.
Simulator.
It's like really weird, like midlife crisis.
The suspense,
lady
though.
games.
Yeah, did you have any more guesses, Ian, about what this game, what Project Z ended up being?
Do you know what it is?
Yes.
Yeah, we know.
Then I'm not going to make a fool of myself.
Spelunker Z.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you told me about that earlier.
Yeah. That's what it turned out to be. Free to play Spelunker game, 4 players. I got some in-app purchases in this game, only for PS4.
Wow.
Huber saw this trailer and
Yeah.
said, "This is jolly. I like this."
Jolly. There's always room for a 4-player co-op game in my book. I love co-op. I will always have my deep single player 50-hour play in a dark room Persona games, but on the same time I like getting in a room with some buddies and
Just playing a little free-to-play game together.
playing some co-op.
Just,
I didn't know anything about Spelunker until Ryan Stevens, and then
Oh, absolutely.
He
I did
introduced
not.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
that came to me several years back. But and now we have Spelunky, which is basically doing some of the same things. But at the
Yeah.
same time, they put out these HD Spelunker games as well, and this is kind of just
Can you imagine in-app
Working from there.
purchases in Spelunky? It would destroy that game.
Oh, it would ruin that game.
Yeah.
That game had like Spelunky is like, cause like Ash and Justin and all those guys, we used to play Spelunky all the time, and like the thing of it is like it's got integrity and it's like really hard.
Yeah.
and
So
that's the
hard.
point of it. And
well,
like
that's the
there's
thing.
secrets
Spelunker's
everywhere.
Really hard too,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like, so it seems like they were just like, hey, Spelunky was cool. Let's do an easy money-making version of that.
Yeah, and I guess why I wanted to bring it up is the teaser.
Yeah.
Was that fair? Was that fair to say Project Z, we're going to announce what this is, and then it turns out to be Spelunker
It's
Z?
abusing.
I think it's
teasers.
abusing it a little bit. You see, Square Enix has to be aware. They have to know when we put crystals in a Z, crystals is Final Fantasy. That's our Final Fantasy thing. And then for that to just end up being Spelunker Z, I don't know,
Yeah.
seems a
That's
little...
like that's the weird thing is like, it's like someone who doesn't understand what a teaser does. It's like, hey, if you're gonna tease something, you have to tease something that's already got cachet. Like you can't just tease something that no one's ever heard of, because then the ultimate reveal is always just everyone's just like, oh,
Yeah.
all right.
Especially teasing the PS4 logo. We're so early in these consoles right now that if you flash an Xbox One or a PS4 logo,
No,
you
you're
get
right.
so hyped.
You're absolutely right. We're still at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's just the thing is that the game doesn't look particularly great. I mean, mechanically it might be fine, but like there's not a lot of production value. Like there's not like anything that being on the PS4 it's gonna be benefiting from. No, it's like you could have.
You gotta have a lot of processing power for all those in-app purchases.
Yeah, it's definitely, it's not one of those games that a young Huber would see at EB Games and go, oh my god,
gotta
look at what's
buy
possible
PS4
now. Yeah,
for
it's not
this.
that, you know?
On the other hand, I'm happy that it wasn't like a Final Fantasy or something, because if they announced like the next Final Fantasy already,
Before
I would
15?
just be like, oh, come on, guys. Come on. This is 15 is like 13.7. Just put it out and then do the next one.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
glad that it was a BS like nothing reveal.
I should just be more prepared. When I see a teaser site from Square Enix, I should say,
It's
oh,
nothing.
this is nothing.
Yeah, it's nothing.
It's basically on me.
Yeah.
No.
We should
They
know.
took
We should-
advantage of you.
They took it. They did.
They took advantage
That's
of
what
you,
I feel.
Kyle.
I feel like they took advantage of me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Never
Are we still
again.
on the first topic of this show?
Kind of. I mean, no, those
No.
were 3 different topics.
Oh, okay.
Plus, we got to talk about Persona.
Yeah. Bonus topic. Unplanned bonus topic.
next we wanna talk
Glad we're
about-
angry.
Something that always makes me a tiny bit uncomfortable. Talking about quarterly financial reports from Sony. We saw from Nintendo. We saw from Microsoft. Now Sony's come out and said that in the last quarter we have shipped 6.4 million PlayStation 4s. So if you're wondering where to put that, it is more than the Xbox One. It is more than the Wii U. It is trending now worse than the Wii when the Wii was launching in its first few couple of years.
So it's doing worse than the Wii did, but it's
Just-
doing better than the Xbox One and the Wii U. Mm-hmm. The
Yeah.
Wii was a big hot
Doesn't
ticket
have that
item,
phenomenon, that
and like the
cultural
PS4 is just the
phenomenon.
good one.
Yeah,
so-
well, and I think the thing is, you know, as you look at it, there was definitely a big shift to people getting the Xbox One because of the, you know, the drastic price cuts.
drop, yeah.
So I think if that hadn't happened, then you know a lot of those sales probably would have went to the PS4.
Ooh, you think Xbox One took some sales?
Yeah, I think it took you know, like, yeah, in terms of the momentum and that kind of, you know, that snowballing effect. I think it kind of dampened that, even though it seems like, yeah, Sony's still in the lead and Microsoft has a ways to catch up.
Yeah, I think the price cut was really smart, especially the bundles. It was like $350 with 2 Assassin's Creed games, which, you know, you're walking in a store on Black Friday or even in the holidays. That's a really good value.
You don't know. You like Assassin's Creed. You're
Yeah,
probably like,
Assassin's
this new one's got to be
Here's
great.
some pirate.
Well,
all that
the
value.
other
Yeah.
thing about it too, that bundle was almost unavoidable because I was trying to get a system, you know, before the end of the year so I could get in on that price drop. And it was like everywhere I looked,
it was there.
it was like the Assassin's Creed bundle was the only
standard version of the
only way to
console.
buy an Xbox One
see.
online. You know,
I
It was-
had one in my hand ready to go to the checkout, and I set it down and walked.
Didn't Brad? Wasn't Brad,
Brad
just like
was
you don't
like,
need
"Don't
Brad
do it."
talked you
out.
don't need
Yeah.
this.
Because he's right, and because that's what I want to talk about is PS4 right now has 2 huge exclusives. Who's buying an Xbox right now when The Order, say what you will about that game, hyped or not, and Bloodborne are right around the corner. I look at Xbox One exclusive titles in the near future, and I don't see anything.
Yo, bro, I'm excited to play Evolve with my friends, so I'm really excited that's coming to Xbox One.
It's also on PS4.
I'm really excited about Ori and the Blind Forest. I think that game looks gorgeous.
Looks
I can't
cool.
wait to play it.
It'll come
so
out on
basically,
PS4
I think
eventually,
Xbox
won't it?
One's got a lot for me, is how I retort.
There's that dude that you just did. This
Yeah.
weird, non-existent bro who likes
Loved
Oni
Ori
and the
and the
Blind
Blind
Forest. That person does not exist. Like, I'm sure that they do, but I'm just kidding. But
Yeah.
like, my God. Also, just the fact that like that's the voice you go to. speaks a lot.
You're
I
right,
think,
I should have done that. That was
no, but I mean,
offensive.
like that's the crowd that is the stereotypical Xbox crowd, and like. I think Evolve is the big Xbox pushing game. Like it's more of an Xbox game than a PS4 game.
Yeah.
It's on both, but that's a Microsoft game. Like
Kind of like how Call of Duty still sells better on Xbox.
and that's
One.
just because I think it goes back to Halo 1 and just the culture that the Xbox made back then. Like that's the box for that stuff
Whereas you look at Destiny and you associate that with PS4.
because of the beta.
Yeah.
But like
Though I think in the end, of
Destiny's
the
probably-
NPDs, World's Destiny is probably on PS4. Anyway, oh my gosh, I hate getting into NPDs. I hate getting that deep into
But
it.
I think games are the biggest part, and 2 huge PS4 exclusives right
plus like
this month
2015
and next month is so big. I mean, if Quantum Break or something had a date, maybe
Yeah.
I could start getting excited. But there's nothing with a date.
Well, that's
at
the thing,
all.
and none of the Xbox exclusives have anything to even latch onto. Halo 5, people played the beta, and that actually seemed to have.
A negative effect almost.
No, I feel like I missed the beta because I was out of town when it was going on, but I feel like from the reactions I've seen from people online, it seems to have stemmed a bit of that hate that came from Master Chief, to where people are
so they're back at 0.
Yeah, kind of. but in terms of like the campaign, like nobody even knows what to think or expect from that whatsoever. And then the
Mistress Chief.
Quantum Break is kind of the same. Like we've seen a couple of scenes, but we still don't really know what that game is. We don't even know what kind of game Scalebound is. We just know that it will hopefully be good because it's platinum.
Don't even hope. You know that's going to be a good game.
What was the quote about it? They were like, "This is going to change the world" or something. They had some
Whoa.
outrageous quote about.
But we don't even know if that game's coming out this year.
It's not.
And then and then another Forza, it's gotten to the point where like no matter how much better it is, nobody's going to care because they're just used to it coming out every other year.
That's the thing too. Is like, oh, sorry, what were you gonna say?
You're forgetting about Scream Ride. So
Oh, right.
there you go. Case closed.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. Like all the upcoming games for Microsoft, they feel like they have all these caveats. Like nobody. I feel like nobody trusts Quantum Break because of like
I do.
Defiance and like the TV show tie-in thing that just like hasn't worked.
Yeah, they
or
should
whatever.
honestly drop it. They should
No
probably just
way.
drop it. Yeah.
And then the Halo thing is like
So cool.
because of the weird technical issues and also the fact that it's nebulous and like it's like everything is like it's like a Nintendo thing when you were talking about like where it has this fine print, whereas like the PS4 stuff is like simple. It's like Bloodborne's going to be amazing because it's a Souls game. The Order is probably a movie with a lot of QuickTime events, but it looks really good. Like, I don't know. Yeah. And like the other things that they've outlined, because Until Dawn is PS4 exclusive, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so like the whole year, like there's stuff on PS4, but they are all of these like like Bloodborne is got multiplayer, but like they're all these more like single player dark.
Persona
they're all
5,
very dark.
Persona 5 this year?
5. They're all very dark looking. They're all very like I don't know. They've got like that kind of vibe.
There's a Ratchet and Clank game coming to PS4 this year, even.
Reimagining.
Even more.
Reimagining. Yeah. Yeah, you know what's funny is I think that Halo 5 coming should feel like Zelda. I feel like the fact that there's a Halo 5 this year should feel like, oh my gosh, a new Halo.
But like
And it doesn't feel like that.
I think it's because like Zelda, like every time a Zelda comes out, it feels like it has this like wonder and like this joy to it.
Yeah.
Halo, it's getting more and more Call of Duty, where it's just like, oh yeah, another Call of Duty game.
They need Rise of the Tomb Raider quick.
Oh, that'll be this year.
They need that in like summer.
Yeah.
Oh, and
Is that
Game
still
Informer
a
had some
thing?
screenshots. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
that's
actually
totally
looks,
a
a big one.
Microsoft
it looks
exclusive.
sweet.
That's a big one.
But just for a little while.
For a while.
That's so
I
weird.
think it'll be
It's
like
still
a year
super
or
weird.
at least 6 months or something
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
It's so weird to me.
They need that.
Holiday 2015 is all they can promise, or all they have promised so far.
Yeah. So 2016, it's like, hey, buy the PS4 version.
But it's still in that same kind of category though, where we
With
don't
Quantum
really
Break.
know anything about it.
Sure, we know a lot. There's a whole Game Informer thing about it. A lot more survival is going to be in this one. Larger open environments.
how much money
more
did
tombs.
Microsoft have to pay to?
Oh, that
for-
deal I'm sure was very expensive.
Or they were like not gonna make it or something, and they were like, make it. Because like,
they were
do you
definitely-
imagine how
They were
many
absolutely gonna
other
make that
sales? Yeah, Do you imagine how many other sales they would have gotten for Christmas on 2 platforms instead of just one?
That's the definitive edition, probably.
So the definitive
Helped,
edition
you know?
sold twice as well
Exactly.
on PlayStation 4
Right.
as it did on Xbox One. And
Yeah.
so Microsoft had to come and say, we will recoup all of those costs.
Well,
Like, it's
when we
so
go back,
weird.
actually going back
Yeah.
to those sales, the quarterly wrap up. I mean, I looked at Ars Technica article, and you can put whatever weight you want into that, but it looked to me like they were just tallying up what people have said they've sold. Mm-hmm. But they put Sony at like 19.9 million shipped, and then Xbox is like 11, but somewhere between 11 and 13 million shipped. So like Sony is legitimately almost double worldwide.
Yeah. So if you want to say, wait, don't make your game exclusive to us, you're writing
Also,
a big
like,
check.
Tomb Raider has the PlayStation pedigree. Like, it's a PlayStation game.
Yeah,
I don't know.
that may have ended when they
I
started
mean,
doing
that's
weird
done.
360
Yeah,
games.
that's done.
Yeah.
But like, I mean, to me, like, I just remember like Tomb Raider 1, PlayStation 1, like.
Yeah. It was on PC a bunch.
Yeah,
That's
I think
true.
PC
It was
is where
PC
really
as well.
started,
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't know. That's probably just me, I guess.
Let's do a couple. You're the one who started this conversations.
Yeah.
Love them.
This is
Here's
my
a
first
big
one.
one. This is your first
never
time
done
on. Well,
this.
you're the one who started this conversation. Okay, Huber, we'll phrase this one to you. This is a big question.
Excellent.
This is from Boomer.
Boomer.
PC
Nice.
gaming.
Oh yeah, you're talking to the right person.
Am I the only one who thinks that it should receive more attention and coverage, both on GT and in general? Yeah, building a powerful PC can get more expensive than a console, but with Steam, more console games getting ported over, a lot of Japanese publishers having success on Steam, e.g. Metal Gear Rising, Valkyria Chronicles Remake more recently, less frame rate locks, emulators, Kyle cringes, he wrote in there. I do. And being just an HDMI cable away from a console experience on a couch, it seems strange to me that people will dismiss it so often. Why do you think this is? I guess you have your research and your numbers for why to focus on consoles, and that is completely understandable, but don't you think that a PC deserves more credit than it often gets? I'm asking you because I'm sure Pactor would be a douche about it.
I think
He would be, by the way. I think he's answered that question.
first is there just don't seem to be a lot of huge PC exclusives anymore. I know there's a lot of indie PC games, but like there's no The Witcher 1 or Crysis 1 PC only games. I feel like they're always
A lot
on
of like RTSs and stuff like.
yeah, I mean you have
Civilization.
you have Blizzard.
But you mean that huge game only on PC? I get what you mean. I do get
so
what
I
you
mean that is gone, and consoles are so huge now, and everyone has them, and I feel like we don't alienate PC necessarily. We talk about the game itself, so that's where I'm coming from.
I think a lot of it is like it goes into the thing that we've talked about before, like why are all movies garbage? Because those are the movies that make the most money. Like video games are held back by consoles because when you're making a game, you have to make it so that it'll run on the lowest common denominator, like the PS4 and the Xbox One, right? And then you're like, yeah, throw it on PC too. But it's not taking advantage of how great the PC could be because it's a PS4 game.
It was
Or an
sad
Xbox
too.
One game.
I was playing Bioshock. I got Bioshock Infinite on PC because that's just I associate Bioshock with PC, and it was very beautiful. And I hooked it up to my PC and my TV, and I did all that. And I was playing with mouse and keyboard, and it was sad. The mouse and keyboard just doesn't feel right for that
let's
game.
not even-
I
let's
played
not start
Bioshock.
this.
Yeah.
Oh no.
I played it on PC as well, but I played controller because the controller felt better
It just
for that
feels
game.
That's so you have to describe that. That's so bizarre to me. What do you mean? That the
because
controller was
because
better?
it's not a Twitch.
not a Twitch game,
based FPS. It's slow moving, and just
And I think just the way that they built that world too.
Yeah.
I mean, it makes like
they're building
an
it with the
analog
console in
controller.
mind.
You know, like you do get those like smoother pans and stuff. So if you're looking around, you know, it feels better to look around with that smooth motion than with a mouse where you're kind of jerking back and forth a little.
It's like I want the developers to give the PC the respect that it deserves. We shouldn't be blamed about not representing it, because when a Blizzard game comes out or a PC exclusive, we hype the shit out of it. Whereas The Witcher 3, perfect example, this is a franchise that was birthed on the PC, And I just read about the new the event and everything. They only have console controls right now. They haven't even done PC controls, which speaks to me that they have done the console first and then PC on the side.
I mean, it could just be that they thought the controls were a better way to play it too. Who knows?
I get it though, because they make their most money on consoles. For most any game, you're making most of your sales on consoles, and then third is usually PC.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I get why you focus on that, but why us? Why do we focus on just the consoles?
I don't think that we do. I mean, I think we still kind of have that holdover perception that people have kind of had from a long time, from years back. I'm not sure if that perception was ever entirely correct, but I mean, I think we talk a lot about PC games, but what he's mentioned, we don't talk about PC gaming, and I think we just don't have that in our DNA here. Like, if NVIDIA announces a new graphics card or a new feature, there's nobody here that latches on and just says, "Oh my gosh," Like
I remember Damiani did that one time.
But I remember what the other week or whatever with the controversy over the 970 and the RAM. Like, nobody in the office even, I had to try to explain it to why it was even a big deal.
Well, I have a gaming PC, and it's just, there's so much maintenance. I've been building PCs since Rainbow Six 1 was the reason that I am a PC gamer today. Back to EB Games, the same exact story. Here's another story. I go in, I play Rainbow Six on their little PC unit right there. I say, this is the craziest thing I've ever played. One shot and you're dead, one shot and you kill them. Bought the game, took it home, wouldn't run on my computer, didn't know why, called the guy in the store. He's like, oh, well, do you have a graphics card? I was like, no, what's that? The rest is history. Then I started building PCs my whole life. But, I mean, Brad always gives me a hard time because nobody takes as well of care as their PC than me. I'm so anal about it. Again, I don't download anything. Napster was just that one time when I was a kid.
I don't believe that.
I take such good care of it, and it still just crashes all the time. I gotta upgrade all the time. I already need to upgrade for Witcher 3, even though I bought a graphics card maybe 2 years ago. It's just, there's so much maintenance. Whereas PS4, Xbox One, whatever, you buy the game, you put it in, and you're gonna be playing on the couch with medium to high PC settings. Not ultra, but good enough for me.
Yeah,
Well, you don't have to worry about it.
You don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, I think that's a big part of it.
And everyone's there. Everyone's on your friends list. You feel connected to your friends because not a lot of my friends are on Steam really. You have a couple people that are playing, Counter-Strike and whatnot, but.
Well, and I've been surprised the other way. Like you were mentioning Blizzard games. Like, I bought and played Diablo 3 on my computer.
Yeah.
And I did not like it.
Yeah.
I didn't like it at all. I was like, wow, they ruined it. This is terrible. And granted, back when it came out, it was a very different game than it is now.
Yeah.
But it came out on the PS4, and it's one of my favorite video game memories. I had
4-player
Hubert,
local, yeah.
Omar and Ben Moore over at my house on the projector. We were playing 4-player local Diablo 3 for 6 or 7 hours straight, and it was just the greatest thing I've ever done. And then I now still I'll just jump into Diablo 3 because it just feels better on the console, which I scoffed at the idea of putting Diablo 3 on the PlayStation when they announced it. I was like, that is the dumbest idea I've ever heard. And I'm like, no way, this is the definitive version of that game. It's amazing.
I think it's a thing. I think it's how we talked about how it's just where it's simplest. It's harder to pirate games now or songs than it is to stream songs.
Yeah.
And so if you just make this simpler, and that's what consoles are, they're just making this whole thing simpler, and that's what people are most attracted to.
Battlefield 4, I play on PC.
But that's the thing. It's a platform for people that have the time and the money, and a lot of people, just don't have either one of those things.
Yeah.
Because if you see that Xbox for $350, you can't even get a decent graphics card for $350.
You want the high-end graphics card? We're talking $400, $500.
Also, for me, always, because I used to build gaming PCs and stuff, and I've been Mac since I started editing all the time. But last night, I just put a solid-state drive and more RAM in my MacBook Pro, because that was cool. But it's always been, and I know that you can set up your PC on a couch and put it on your TV or whatever, but like that was never the thing. And honestly, it's the chair that I don't like, because like I sit at a computer all day at work, right?
That's Pactor's argument.
No, but like there's something to that. Like even when I had a gaming PC and I was sitting there and I'm like, I'm gonna play a game right now, I would be like, I'm gonna play a console game because I can just hold a thing in my hand and like I can play it like this.
You can absolutely play a PC game
Yeah,
like
definitely.
that today.
Yeah, if you
World of
have
Warcraft, baby.
right, but if you have to
Yeah.
use if it's mouse and board, like you're like, but yeah, I mean if you run a controller to your PC, whatever, but like
Yeah.
it's on your surround sound system, it's on your projector or TV, it's on your couch. You can just push a button and it starts. That's why I'm digital only now too, because I'm just like, if I have to get up and go behind me and reach up and put a disc in the PlayStation 4, it's just not gonna happen.
Yeah.
The thing that's always weirded me
No,
out
it's Spotify. Absolutely.
is,
Yeah.
as you were kind of saying and alluding to with the controllers, is this is like, there's this group of PC gamers, this generation, I feel like, that expects every PC game to be controlled mouse and keyboard.
I don't think that exists.
No, there are.
Yeah.
People
Ben was
sure.
playing Evolve with a controller, and I was angry. I was like, "What are you doing?"
No, I mean, there are definitely games that, like, yeah, you should be playing with a mouse and keyboard, for sure. But the idea that a controller-based PC game is unacceptable, I think is something that hurts the PC market. Because there are certain types of games that are always going to be better with the controller. Just,
Bioshock Infinite.
you know. But I mean, that's a weird example because
Yeah.
that is a shooter. But I mean, like an Assassin's Creed
Fighter.
game, for instance, like I think that you can play that with a controller. I haven't really played, or you can play that on mouse and keyboard. I haven't really done it, but I wouldn't.
Yeah.
Like I just wouldn't. Like that just doesn't make sense. Like I would never play Mario 64 on the stupid DS because no, you need an analog stick for Mario 64, not a dumb touchscreen.
Yeah.
And then, like, weird examples too, like XCOM.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people, like you can play it with mouse and keyboard or both, and the consensus around here was that it's actually better with a controller.
Really?
Which is really
Yeah.
surprising. Like I
Strategy.
remember Ryan saying that is like he's like, yeah, I really actually prefer it with the controller. And then I play.
'Cause
I
there's a
play it
lot
on
of
the
just
PlayStation.
cycling over.
Yeah, and you could just just tap it over and
Yeah.
I don't know, it's weird.
But that's the thing is like when my first experiences with PC gaming was like the Apple II and the Commodore 64, and like the Commodore 64 is like, yeah, we got a joystick. Like that was like just something we got with it. So why?
Oh, I remember playing Doom
over
with
the
the
years, people have decided.
Oh man, yeah, that's funny
Yeah.
to think of.
Wing
Doom
Commander,
Doom 2 with the joystick.
Descent. Well, this is later, but oh man.
All right, one more question. This is
So
a quick
for
one.
me,
Okay.
developers have more.
You're
give me
blaming the developers. You're saying I don't talk about PC games because the developers
They
don't.
focus on consoles every time.
They have to for
Yep.
money. They
Yep.
have to. Developers have to. You don't have to do anything.
Yeah, well, like what? Witcher and Evolve are the only games that are really pushing the graphics cards right now, too.
Right.
And I think the tablets are a big part of that because people aren't even buying PCs as much because they have most everything they want on their phone or a tablet. So why invest in a desktop?
Oh, don't start that.
I would love
Desktops
it
are
if
worth
Doom
owning.
4 was PC exclusive.
Sure, it might
That would be the best.
Oh, it's
Bring
gonna,
it.
That's going to be an Oculus game.
PC only, Oculus.
It's going to be an Oculus game for sure.
I wish.
Let's do one more. This is from Steven. What does Ian do the whole time he's off camera? Is he just on his phone slacking, or does he actually have to pay attention? Yeah, that's it. What do you do for the entirety of this episode?
For like GT
I'll
time?
back you up.
Well, GT time is I'm in here, I listen, and whenever like blood comes in hot usually,
What does it mean to come in hot?
like he'll start talking like this and then get quieter and blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
So I have to like, if he talks, I'll go like oh, and turn him down a little and then bring him up. And Kyle's got this witch voice. Huber, you just kind of like set down, and I put a like
Set
to make
me
this
low.
to make this show have a quick turnaround. I use a compressor in my edit, so like it just kind of like mediums everything out, so you're generally at a decent thing. But like sometimes in this show, it'll sound like it peaks, it gets crunchy, and that's because it's peaking on the mics or in the audio, not in the camera. But like, yeah, usually GT time, if it's not an interesting topic, I'll troll around on my phone for the first 10 minutes trying to find a game to play, and then I'll realize that I don't want to play any games on my phone. For a while, I was reading the Dungeons and Dragons manuals, but then I got through those. And by the end of it, I usually just get like warm and like tired of looking at something, so I just listen. But I'm always like every 2 seconds I look up at the
I was surprised.
monitor and the
Even
audio.
in this episode, you cited something we talked about last week that you weren't in that show.
And that's the thing.
Nobody
like,
told you to listen. You were just
Yeah,
listening.
you
retain
when
it.
you do this stuff, like I've been shooting things and cutting things, like you start to remember things. I have a visual memory.
Yeah.
So
That's true.
like,
You do have to edit it again later.
Yeah, so like I remember where things happen and like when I need to. Like this episode started at 3 minutes,
While we're
and
talking
the
about-
corrections was at 7 minutes. That time will be different for you guys because it'll start at 3, so
Yeah.
the corrections will be at like 5 or whatever. And like whenever you do the lock-in, I'll look over and it'll be like, oh, 1:12:40.
And then you retain that.
Yeah, and then I subtract 3 because that's how many minutes we dicked around before
Best in the
actually
biz.
starting.
Best in the biz.
Best in the biz.
Best in the biz.
Yep.
While we're talking about mobile games that are no fun to play, I want to talk about Framed.
That game where you like do the.
Yeah,
I've
that
got
game
it.
blows.
that on
Kojima's
phones?
just like, it's my game of the year. This is what gaming should be. That game blows.
I've
it's
only
not
seen it.
good.
I've never played it.
Yeah.
It looks like a cool idea. What's
It's a
wrong
cool
with
idea, and then you just play it for too long, and it's just like, oh, you're dumb. You're a dumb game.
it? I mean, how long does it take? The
How-
game looks
what do
like
you mean
it beat,
too long?
you beat it in like an hour.
No, I played it, I think, for probably more than an hour at this point. Maybe an hour altogether.
That's not.
The puzzles
That
get
is not
very
what
contrived.
a phone game is for. Who's playing a phone game
thought
for
it was
more
on the
than an hour at
computer.
a time?
No, it's a phone game for sure, because you're just matching around like comic strip panels, but it's just like
Bursts.
Oh.
To quote Corporal Hicks, short, controlled bursts.
It is that though. Like
And then they take away the guns, and the other guy's like, "What are we supposed to use against them? Harsh language?
what is it? What I mean, even what is
Aliens.
it? Aliens. we're
Watch
doing?
movies.
I've seen aliens.
With short, controlled
I don't
bursts.
retain all
You do
the
a couple
lines.
comics at a time.
Visual
you
memory.
Think about it later.
It's no, but like it gets to the point where it's just like now you'll never figure out this one. It's just like, oh, it's just a bunch of dumb boxes, you jerks. It's
That's
like,
what you hated about. Was it Velocity?
You're right.
Where it just
Velocity
gets
got to a point-
progressively, where you just have to think too much.
It's not even like thinking too
Yeah.
much. It's just you have to bang your head against it too
Yeah.
much.
Yeah.
It's just like
It's like trial and error almost.
yeah, it
Which-
gets
yeah.
super at that point.
Memorization.
So Kojima, you picked a bad game of the year. Oof. Worse than Hearthstone.
Whoa! I knew you were gonna say it.
Shots fired
Let's
all over.
let's talk about bets.
Here we go again.
Let's do some bets.
All right.
Evolve releases next week. Evolve's coming out.
The game's gonna suck.
You know, while we're being honest about our opinions, let's.
I played the technical test of the PS4 for like 3 hours and then just deleted it.
Yeah.
Because, oh god, and the characters are so stereotypical and stupid.
I love
Sorry,
co-op.
I'm derailing. That game is terrible.
It's not derailed.
It's
We're
not
talking
my
about
thing.
Evolve.
It's not my thing. That game is not. It's not bad. It's not a terrible game. It's just not my thing. Some games aren't my thing.
Doesn't feel its vibe.
I don't feel the
vibe.
vibe.
yeah. Nothing Norton
Bad
just said.
vibes.
Yeah, you don't like
Bad
its vibe?
vibes.
That's good.
Kyle also doesn't feel the vibes of that
And
game.
it's sluggish as
Yeah,
hell.
sure.
The controls are sluggish. The graphics are gross looking. The environments look alright.
You know what I don't like about it is like I don't like the dynamic of 4 versus 1.
Bully. We talked about it.
Yeah, you're bullying it.
Yeah.
You're bullying. I don't like
but
being
if
the creature.
you
I
get
don't like
level
attacking the creature.
3, you're bullying them.
That's the thing.
Yeah, I
like,
don't like doing that.
Being like, I was excited to be the creature, and that didn't feel fun.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe it's just got like this weird like learning curve.
It's got a weird vibe.
It
that,
definitely
like,
has
it's
a
got a
learning
weird
curve.
vibe.
Like it'll take you have to play it for like a week and a half before you're like good enough that it is fun. But it just felt like there's so much like the UI felt it was like this weird combination of too much going on but not enough actual information. So it just got annoying.
Yeah,
I don't
just
know.
follow where the birds were. Some stuff like that.
Yeah, it's so dumb.
It might be good. Hey, everybody, if you want to buy it,
The levels
don't-
are huge.
Just still buy it.
I
if you
think it
want to
looks
buy
fun if you play with friends.
Yeah,
you
maybe
gotta
playing
play
with
with
maybe
friends.
playing
Absolutely.
with people
I
I
can't
know.
wait to play with
Yeah,
someone.
I think,
where I
think you
where I
almost
can
have
just be
to.
like, where I can just be like, Huber, what the hell's going on right
then
now?
Follow me in, let's go.
Yeah.
Monster.
But then you're gonna be the monster one time, and I'm gonna be like, oh, I gotta fight Huber now.
Yeah,
But that's the weird thing is like
Yeah.
I'm not even sure you can like be the monster and fight your friends. It was weird.
Well, I think if you just group up with 3 other friends, you have 4
And
of
you
you.
always rank
and you
monster
rank
last.
everyone ranks the monster last, and you're in a party of 4.
You have pretty good odds.
Yeah, should be
Okay.
fine.
so weird.
So that game is coming out next week. How many
Huge release.
How many tweets will @2K support, which is the 2K Games customer support Twitter account, make between 12:01 on Tuesday morning and the recording of our next episode. How much
So
will
that's 3 days? 2.5 days?
Yeah. How much will a customer support
And this
tweet?
does not
How many
count
tweets will they make? Does not count replies. Ian, you may choose whether you want to go
Oh.
first or last.
Last.
Okay. Blood, how many tweets? To listeners using careful thought. That's what a goatee is good for. You can just touch your goatee. It's so smart.
I'm gonna go with an average of 10 a day. I'm gonna go 30.
30 tweets.
Yep.
Holy cow, Blood. What are they saying for 30 tweets? This is
They're
just
saying,
customer support.
sorry the servers are down. We're working our hardest. Sorry that the game doesn't work. Matchmaking will be
But
better.
2K support is also gonna be
got a patch coming
things that
out.
are not Evolve.
True. Yeah, there are other 2K games. Huber.
So much pressure for Jones. I want Jones to win so bad.
Yeah, you are voting for the Jones seat, just to be clear to everybody.
He's at 30.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say.
Whoa. Hubert also really struggling with this one. Ian quickly doing some research.
I tried to do the phone
It was a
thing.
good idea to
didn't work very well on
buy
the
some
phone.
time by going last.
35.
35. You're going above Bloodworth. I think both of you are insane.
Too high or too low?
It's way too high. 4 is my bet.
4.
I
think
they've-
that's
Four
way
tweets?
too
I think
low.
they've
That's
done 4
locked,
in the past
baby.
day, man.
Yeah, that's locked.
Yep, good.
I feel good about that.
Cool.
Ian, do you have a bet? We'll give you 6 more seconds.
Say 5 and you're golden.
Well, in the
Well,
last...
you still got to get close to 30.
Okay, 16 seconds, 6 minutes, 9 minutes, 11 minutes, 1 hour, 1 hour,
But no
2
replies.
hours, 2
Replies don't
hours.
You're just looking at replies.
Oh, okay.
That's the thing.
Yeah, if it was replies, it'd be... Let's look at tweets.
You're out of 6 seconds.
Yeah, he's
I'm going to
cheating.
say... Yeah, these are all replies. Yeah, I'll say 5.
Oh my god. All right, and let's lock those in. Ian, check the time. Okay, great bets, everyone. Well,
these are
we'll
all
see. I like that
replies.
we got a wide variety. Let's talk about last week's bets. Last week was Apex 2015. The highlight of which is a Smash Brothers tournament. There was Melee, which was the main event, but also Smash Brothers for Wii U.
Sounded like there's a lot of craziness logistically that happened there too. They had to move.
It almost never
locations and
happened.
stuff, Yeah.
So here's what happened: is they had their first location. Somebody pulled a fire alarm, and then the firefighters came.
fire
Fire
police.
marshals.
The fire marshals came.
Fire police.
And like because they thought it was a fire there, and while they're there, they're like, "Oh, hold on a second, you can't have an event in here. This is not up to regulations. Everybody go." And so this poor tournament had to like find a new venue within the day,
Wow.
and they did it. They pulled it off.
While it was open already?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, they'd already been streaming and
Like,
stuff, I believe.
relocated all the people? Mm-hmm. That's incredible.
It's amazing that it was pulled off in the end. That was pretty impressive. We bet on which character would get the furthest into Smash Brothers for Wii U. Brandon picked Bowser for you. He knew, I think, you would be on the show this week.
Thank you. Thank you, Jones.
Bowser did not compete. The winner, of course, was Zero with Diddy Kong, which was just like the cheap one. It's
Yeah,
cheap
isn't Diddy
to-
Kong OP?
He is.
That's a
And
Wii bet, right?
even like the commentators, they were talking about Zero. They said like after this tournament, he wanted to win with Diddy, and then he's going to retire that character and actually like play the fun ones. I think Captain Falcon is one of the he wants to try out. So like he did what he had to do basically. This guy Zero, he won the weird the tournament they had, the Invitational, the first ever Wii U one. He won that with Zero Suit Samus. He's a guy who wears a scarf. Yeah, so he won with Diddy Kong. You just pick the best character, you win. I don't know. Is that honorable?
Does everyone use the fast characters? Is that still a thing in Smash?
Yeah,
Speed over power,
Diddy
right?
Kong is ridiculous.
Everyone's so fast.
Diddy Kong is speed and power and
I feel
combos.
I feel like though if like
and he's a monkey.
Who did he fight?
if everyone acknowledges that Diddy Kong is OP, why would they not like ban Diddy
Do
Kong?
like a Dota or a
Like they do that in
MOBA
Magic,
pick
they do that in
three
everything,
thing,
yeah.
Or Captain's mode, yeah.
Yeah.
I think he was up against Rosalina in the finals. I don't remember quite though. I think that it's too early to ban a character. I think it took him a while to ban Meta Knight for Brawl. But yeah. Anyway, Bloodworth looked at the tier list and he said, "Oh, Diddy Kong's good, huh? I'll bet Diddy Kong." And so Bloodworth won. He picked the winner. So Bloodworth,
Tier lists are so funny to me.
well, in this
to me,
case,
that ruins
extremely
Smash.
accurate.
I
In this
hate
case-
tier lists.
No, if the four of us were to play and like one of us was Diddy Kong, there's no way Diddy Kong would win. Like that's irrelevant to our level of play.
I'm
You know what I mean?
exclusively Bowser, whether he's the best or the worst.
Zero Suit
Yeah.
Samus. I've never even
And I was
tried
at such
another
a
character.
I was at
Yeah.
such a disadvantage in Melee and Brawl because Bowser wasn't that good. My
Yeah,
friends
now you get
always
that
picked
drop
on me.
kick.
Now I got the drop kick, so I got
Those
something
things
to
are-
work with.
Now when
Yeah.
you win with him,
Yeah.
you just feel so good.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's do some tallies. So now Guest Seat has 2 points, Bloodworth has 2 points, Brandon Jones has 1 point. Your moderator Kyle Bossman has 0 points. Blood, you have earned the right to promote any video and also close us out.
Yeah, I guess I'll just go with the. Actually, I'm gonna change it. I'm gonna go with the community top 10 that I did last week. That was ridiculous, but I really liked the way it came out.
What is the community top 10?
So the whole time we were doing our Ultimate Game preview, I was collecting votes, having people vote on the games they were most excited for this year, and then we, tallied them all up. I got quotes on every game from people that left comments, and so it's real fun because people get to hear their comments read by Brandon Jones, and a cameo appearance from Ian Heath.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
So yeah, I want to do more of those this year. I need to find a easier way to do it, but it might require some kind of custom form because I don't like the standard poll because that means you have to put in every entry.
And it's easy to cheat.
And it's a little easier to cheat, yeah. But I think the thing is with it just being open-ended, I got 120 something games that were suggested.
How many-
I would never fill out a poll with 120 games,
Right.
you know.
So I think that's pretty interesting, actually.
But
How many
can you
votes did
do-
you count?
Can you do the thing where if they write in, it just adds it as an option? Like you say other, and then it adds it as an option for the future people?
You could do that, but that one guy who made 5 accounts to vote for
Right.
Uncharted 4 is going to crush that vote.
Right, obviously.
Yeah, that's the thing too, is you don't
To
get to see
IP
who votes as
scam
much.
it,
Like
yeah.
I definitely caught some people trying to spam their way in, or they tried to make their first and their second vote for the same game and stuff
Bloodborne,
like
it was
that.
correct. That was the correct answer.
So that's a kind of a secondary thing, but I think the main thing that the typical poll is at a disadvantage is the kind of becoming a giant list that people have to scan through and find the game that they want,
Yeah.
rather
No.
than just type it in, put in your comment. But anyways, check it out. I think it's still going to be on the front page because of the little module for the Ultimate Game Preview. It's the big red square that's on there. And here are all our Twitter handles. Leave us comments, leave us questions, and we'll see you next week.
I love.